Hey, everybody. I'm Anthony P. Carrillo, the Father Involvement Coordinator for Ben Archer Health Center. And for the month of September, we're recognizing effective family communication. So let's jump right in it. Your children are being rushed through their breakfast while you and your spouse get yourselves ready for work. Not much is said other than words and nonverbal communication intended to hurry everybody along. If this is a common theme in your lives, there's a chance that your spouse and children seem to consistently have trouble understanding or remembering what others are saying, or do not show support for what is important to other members of the family. These points are important to note because improved family communication helps ensure that your home environment is more positive than negative. In fact, researchers have discovered that the quality of family interactions correlates with how satisfied they are with those relationships. Conversely, poor communication patterns oftentimes increase family conflict and diminish emotional bonds. Fortunately, there are several steps we can take to help improve the quantity and quality of the communication between the members of your family. Let's go over the first one. Schedule family time. It can be all too easy to create a life in which family members do not spend much or any quality time together, especially when you and your spouse may be working long hours at your jobs and the kids are busy with school and their extracurricular activities. However, it is incredibly important to schedule family time. In fact, we should raise the significance of doing so to the level that is considered just as important as showing up to work or going to a doctor's appointment. If necessary, remove some already planned activities from your lives to make room for the ones that involve the entire family. Of course, gather feedback and come to a consensus when deciding which activities should be moved to make space for a family time. We may experience some initial resistance, especially from our older children, and need to understand that we may not be able to create these experiences overnight. As long as we are diligent in setting a time aside for this purpose, our children will start to look forward to these moments. It also helps make sure that these activities are important to your children and spouse, but that they are also something that they really enjoy as well. Number two, establish family routines. Another way to create situations that all members of your family look forward to is to create some family routines. This can be as simple as reading a chapter in a book to a young one before bedtime, or an activity that involves a little more planning, such as setting aside one night every week or month for a fun activity, such as family game night or movie night. These routines help create a sense of stability in the lives of our children. Having something to look forward to periodically help them relax and create a fun sense of anticipation. These routines also create more opportunities for them to interact with other family members, but make sure to let this happen as organically as possible. Try out a few things and see what sticks. Number three, eat meals together. One way you can increase family time together is to ensure that at least some of the meals that you eat are spent as a family. It also helps to have this happen on a regular day or series of days, such as Sunday evenings. Creating this ritual prompts children and other family members to start looking forward to them, but it eventually helps them to learn what to expect of these positive experiences. One of the benefits of regularly eating meals together is that people often communicate more openly and clearly in these situations than they may in other scenarios. Number four, allow for one-on-one time. Although group settings are great for a variety of reasons, it is also important to set aside some one-on-one time between you and other family members of your other members of your family. Oftentimes, people are more comfortable talking about things important to them in this setting as opposed to a group one. Perhaps you can take a young one to a place that is important to them, such as Calichi's for some ice cream, or their favorite park to help them feel more comfortable and at ease. Once there, make sure to ask more open-ended questions that cannot be answered as curtly as children tend to do, especially when they get older. For example, ask about the most interesting thing they've learned that day, as opposed to asking what they've learned in general or how their day was. Anything that gets them thinking and talking more thoroughly is a good thing. Also, ensure that you are available to speak with your children and other family members when they need someone to talk to. If you are busy when one wants to speak with you, make sure to set some time aside in the near future to devote to your loved one. Number 5, be an active listener. Probably the most important thing you can do is to ensure that you are focused 100% on what your loved one is communicating. One way to help make sure that this is the case is to simply turn off or ignore all electronic devices. This includes TVs, computers, cell phones, as miscommunication often occurs when the person being talked to is distracted by those things. Also, make sure that you are much more focused on listening than on talking or on constantly thinking of what to say when there is a break in the conversation. Many adhere to the 80-20 rule, which states that you should listen 80% of the time and speak the other 20%. Of course, it's not possible for both parties to listen 80% of the time in one-on-one conversation, but the gist behind the rule is important to keep in mind. Once the other person is finished talking, consider paraphrasing what was said and repeat it back to ensure that you understand it accurately. It also helps to have your child repeat back what you said to make sure you were understood as you had intended. Number 6, attack the problem, not each other. If there are issues amongst family members, make sure that the focus is always on the problem itself, not on either or both of the people involved in the situation. In other words, show unconditional love for the person while communicating concern over what the individual did and clearly explaining why you were bothered by what had occurred. If necessary, take a few minutes speaking to your child before speaking to your child about what upset you. It is very important not to explode at a young one or otherwise react in a manner that tends to completely cut off the lines of communication. Although allow your child to fully explain the reasoning behind what occurred, take the information in and then explain how you viewed the situation. Number 7, show kindness and appreciation. One way to help foster positive emotion amongst family members is to regularly support each other. Doing so could include going to watch your son at the school play or listening to your daughter share stories of her blossoming softball career. It also helps to encourage your children when they are experiencing some of the more challenging times in their lives. Note that criticism is absolutely okay. Just make sure that love and care are behind those critiques and that your loved ones are on your mind when you communicate those concerns. Number 8, stay connected through technology. Although it is important to cut off from technology whenever possible while communicating with loved ones, you can also use technology to your advantage to keep in touch during times of your lives when you may not be able to have as many in-person interactions as would be preferred. Using technology also keeps family members in touch with others when the time comes for children to go to college or simply move away from the home. Social media is a great way to stay connected. Nowadays, mostly everybody has a social media account with means that they are just a click away. Maintaining good family relationships. Although improving the communication lines in your family does take some time and devotion, the outcome is easily worth anything that may have been sacrificed to make that happen. Doing so not only helps strengthen the bonds between parents and their children, but it also helps parents get closer to one another as well as children with each other. Furthermore, a nice benefit that results from doing this is that it teaches your children how to communicate with those outside of the family, such as teachers and friends. In fact, showing your loved ones the best ways to communicate will also help their future interactions with bosses, coworkers, and their own children become as positive as possible. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you absorbed something from it. Thank you for viewing. I hope it was beneficial to you and your families and, helps boost or strengthen your family's communication amongst each other. If you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments below. But once again, I'm Anthony P. Carrillo, the Father Involvement Coordinator for Ben Archer Health Center. If there's ever anything I could do resource-wise, just let me know and I'm a call away. 575-373-1033 is the number. Thank you for viewing. We'll see you next month.